All right, we'll call the Adams County Board meeting for July 15th to order here at 7 o'clock in the County Courthouse. First thing we have is invocation from Deacon Wayne Zimmerman. Deacon, if you would make sure to press the button. There you go.
Father in heaven, who has given us all good things here, plentiful water, stands of forest, and acres of rich farmland. These gifts drew people to this place to settle, to start businesses and farms, and they brought their families here. We celebrate 200 years here, and during this time, we have made it our home. We have built villages, towns and cities, schools, churches, and hospitals. Yes, we enjoy the gifts you have given us, and we give you thanks for them. Tonight, our elected officials come together. May you be with them as they do the people's business. Give them knowledge, judgment, and wisdom, and guide them to the common good. Letting their decisions help us to treat all people with the respect they deserve, regardless of race, creed, or economic standing. We make this prayer through your Son, Jesus. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Deacon Zimmerman. We'll have a roll call. County Clerk, please.
Mark Sorensen.
Here.
Barb Fletcher.
Here.
Ryan Heecamper.
Here.
Dave Bellis.
Here.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Here.
Jeremy Farlow.
Here.
Steve McQueen.
Here.
Travis Cooley.
Here.
Robert Rich.
Here.
Tim Finley.
Here.
John McCoy.
Here.
Brad Poulter.
Here.
David McCleary.
Here.
John Gunther.
Here.
Brent Fisher.
Here.
Joe Zenger. Russ Heecamper.
Here.
Timothy Seymour.
Here.
Keith Calloway.
Here.
Brett Austin.
Here.
19 present, 2 absent.
19 present, 2 absent. Declare a quorum present. Next up, we have public comment. Let's see how we got these grouped here. Why don't we have Kyle Moore come up first from Gretiff and talk about our housing projects.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable members of the Adams County Board, my name is Kyle Moore, President of the Great River Economic Development Foundation. On behalf of our Board of Directors, I want to thank you for your $1 million commitment to housing throughout Quincy and Adams County. As you are familiar with, we are now in round 2 of the Adams County GROW program. The first GROW program awarded a little over $740,000, which would complete 57 units throughout Adams County. We started the second round of the Adams County GROW program on April the 1st, with applications being open. The Great River Economic Development Foundation conducted 2 trainings on April the 15th and May the 5th. The application deadline was on June the 17th. We have a committee of citizens that then look through those applications. I'm happy to report to you that a former member of the Adams County Board was added to that committee, Matt Obert, if you are familiar with him. So once we get the applications in, the staff of the Great River Economic Development Foundation looks at those applications, completes a packet not only for the committee to look at, but for any member of the county board to look at. We also go review each site to make sure that either they're reported as is, or if they are under roof, that the project isn't already started. The committee then takes those packet and they weigh each proposal for 7 categories. 1, the financial request to the GROW program. 2, the number of units constructed. 3, the timeline, so can they get it done by the end of next year. 4, the financial ability to complete the project. 5, the location, so we want to spread out these projects throughout Adams County. 6, the proposed value. And 7, how does it meet the needs of the housing study that we did a few years ago. I'm happy to report to you that we had 11 applicants who requested a total of $550,000, which is more than what you have, but that's a good thing, for a total of 30 units. We had 7 applicants in Quincy, 2 in Camp Point, 1 in Ursa, and 1 in Menden. The committee has completed their work, and on Friday we submitted the complete packet to Mr. Ryan Niekamp and to the board chairman for you to review over either next month or the upcoming months. And we certainly encourage each and every one of you to reach out if you have any questions. But the bottom line is we have over 700 open jobs in the city of Quincy. We do not have enough houses to fill each applicant if they were to all of a sudden move here overnight. And if you take the 57 units that you have, and let's say we found money and awarded the 30, you'd have close to 100 units thanks to the Adams County Board, and I think you deserve a pat on the back for that. And so on behalf of the members of the Great River Economic Development Foundation, our board of directors, we want to say thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions as you look through that packet.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Does anyone have any questions for Kyle? I just wanted to say that you'll get all that information here shortly. We just got that, and Ryan will push that out to everyone. You'll get to see a chance of the matrix breakdown of all that, and then we'll go through that whole process in our August meetings. I think we got enough on our plate for July, and so we'll do that in August and be able to award those. That'll fit the timeline, okay?
You bet, and thank you for the partnership. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Next up, I was going to have Mr. Tim Bass come up, and he wanted to introduce himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For those of you whom I've not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Tim Bass. I have the privilege of returning home to West Central Illinois, and my wife and I are proud residents of Adams County, and thanks to our state's attorney, Todd Eiler, he's given me the privilege of joining his office as an assistant state's attorney. I say return home because I recently retired from the United States Attorney's Office for the Central District of Illinois after 30 years of service. And at the beginning of my career and at the end of my career, I represented the Central District, but prominently the city of Quincy and Adams County. When I started with the U.S. Attorney's Office in 1995, Bob Null was the sheriff, I believe. Mr. McCoy was his chief deputy. And 2 years later, Sheriff Grotens was hired with the DEA, and about the same time that your former state's attorney, Gary Farhar, was hired in the state's attorney's office. And I represented cases that were brought out of this county, out of this city, for most of my early career, and continued to do that for 30 years. My entire legal career has been about public service, because my belief is it's an honor to be a public servant. And I'm grateful to Todd for giving me the honor to continue that public service for as long as I'm healthy and able to do so. So just wanted to introduce myself to all of you and say how proud and privileged I am to be back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bass, and we appreciate your service here, and welcome to the team. I'm sure Todd will have lots of cases for you. Next, just a little clearing business. Let the record show that Joe Zanger is present. Thank you, Joe. So we have 20 present and 1 absent. Next on the public comment to speak, we'll just take these in the order of sign up, and if we could get Mr. Pete Pullman to come to the podium and speak. Thank you for being here, Pete. You have 3 minutes on your speaking.
Chairman Austin and members of the county board, thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I want to talk about the solar farm on Ghost Hollow Road. My address is 4507 Ghost Hollow Road, Melrose Township. I can't see the solar farm, I can't hear the solar farm, and I can't smell it, so it's not objectionable to me. What I want to try to point out are some of the things that were missing in the application. I read all 81 pages of it, and there's some things that kind of bother me. One of the things it did not talk about the tax valuation, and I've talked with Lisa Gasco twice on this. The state sets the value of the solar farm. They have a formula, and it comes out, it's based on the megawatt hours of capacity, or megawatts of capacity. It comes out to about 247,000 is what they value it at. So if you take the rate that was levied in Melrose Township, that comes out to about a little over $15,000 totally to the taxing bodies. Out of that, the county would get about $1,100, and Melrose Township would get about $751. So this is something to think about. This is not a big tax thing for you folks. The ownership shows Pilot Energy, but it doesn't have any financials with it. That bothers me. In a project this big, there should be some financials, particularly if there is state and federal money involved in it. That's not shown anywhere in that 81 pages that I looked at, so think about that. There's no marketing plan. If you're going to build that big a project, and it's not that big, there should be a way that you're going to market that stuff. It's 3.4 megs. The Illinois Power Agency won't even talk to you unless you have 4 megawatts of capacity. So they're going to have to market this thing some other way. And I think what they're going to do is try to do it individually, one person at a time. That's going to be a lot of work, a lot of effort, and going to be a lot of default, I think, on the people that buy it, which means it could get itself in trouble. The incentives, the renewable incentives that are out there are somewhat in question. There's a controversy going on between the state and the feds right now, and I'm not sure where that's going to go. And there's quite an article in the WGEM website tonight, so if you want to check that out, if you vote or want to put it off or whatever. Now, to give you an idea, I worked at CIPS, Ameren CIPS, 40 years. After I retired, I did energy consulting for another 15 years. I did a lot of work with wind and solar, and I have advised probably 30 or 40 individuals, homeowners and small businesses, on whether or not it made sense for them to put in solar. So I'm not against solar, but it needs to be the right application. I also worked with the Civic Center when they did theirs. I was the primary consultant to the Civic Center, and they put in their unit, which is about 60,000 watts. So these are some of the things I think you need to look at before you make a choice. And it's kind of late in the game, but I wasn't able to make it to the hearing that you had earlier. Questions? Just throw me out.
Thank I don't give the strong hook. I just try to be fair to everybody. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Pullman? Pete, thank you for coming, and thank you for your years of experience in all the projects you've done.
All right.
Next up, we will have Brittany Krebsbach. Krebsbach, right? Okay, from Pivot Energy.
Do I also have 3 minutes, Chairman?
Yes.
I'll do what I can. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Adams County Board members. I'm going to be pretty quick and focus mostly on the adjustments and improvements that we made. If Ryan is able to put up the site plan, that would be great. So just really quick refresher, we've got a 3.4 megawatt system here that's comprising about 22 acres of the site along Ghost Hollow. We've got an 8-foot mesh wire egg-style fence proposed. We will be doing sheep grazing, as we do on the vast majority of our projects. We do have screening proposed. There's no drain tile on site, and decommissioning will be in compliance with the Department of Agriculture AMA program. Pivot Energy was founded in St. Louis. We're now based in Denver. We have offices in Chicago. We've got about 30 megawatts now in operation in Illinois. So just to cover the improvements made after the comments heard at the public hearing. So biggest thing is we removed the 4 most southern rows of panels. So right along the right-of-way there. So now instead of just being set back 50 feet from the right-of-way, we're now set back 300 plus feet. So that will be a big improvement on, visual view shed changes from the right-of-way and the neighbors to the southwest. We also added some additional screening. So originally we had just the western and southern boundaries there, but we did add some proposed screening on the eastern side there, right between the utility easement and our project. That easement is not related to our project. It's an Ameren transmission line. But because of that big utility transmission line easement, it causes a clearing and a gap in that existing vegetation. So that proposed screening on the east side there will help mitigate that, gap in the view shed changes to that landowner there to the southeast. We've also more than cut in half the tree clearing proposed for this site. So I know neighbors had conservation and environmental concerns there. So we went from about 2.3 acres proposed to be trimmed or cleared to just under an acre now. And that's just to eliminate some existing vegetation and some shading issues on the northwest corner there. So those are the majority of things that we've been working on since the public hearing. In conclusion, we have been, really committed to working with neighbors on this project and listening to y'all's feedback. We've invested a lot of, not only finances, but of course our time too into this project. We've put about 10 additional megawatts, like I said, on the grid since I last pulled the numbers for our last meeting. So we're in the business of building these sites and putting these projects on the grid, not just grabbing permits and then sitting on them. So I know that's important to y'all. And we're committed to building it with integrity. So that's through our community investment. I don't know how many of you were at the meeting last month. So Pivot has a program where we commit money to a local 501c3. That's $5,000 per megawatt for every project we have. And so for this project in particular, that's about $17,000 going to local 501c3s in the Quincy or Adams County area. We had the meeting with neighbors. I know I discussed that at the last meeting. So, that's a voluntary meeting that we put on. We coordinate addressing their concerns, improving an already compliant project, but improving it for their benefits. So, we're working with neighbors for screening stipends so that they can put some screening on their own properties for those that are most affected, especially that neighbor to the southeast there. So, we just hope that, you see the efforts that we have made and, you see the resolution from the county office. Thank you so much to everyone that's helped with that. We've checked all the boxes and everything. So hope that you consider that in your vote tonight, as well as the unanimous approval from our committee just prior to this meeting. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions or be a resource ongoing after this meeting too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Krebsbach. Does anyone have any questions for her? Yes, Mr. Finley.
I'd just like to follow up regarding Mr. Pullman's question on the marketing of the electricity you'll be generating. What's your plan for that?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. I think maybe the gentleman was referring to like the subscribers that would subscribe to the solar garden once it's online. Because we do work directly with Ameren to get onto the grid. So there's no issue of like who's going to buy the electricity to put it on a grid. That's already taken care of. We've got a fully executed interconnection agreement. As far as subscription, so that's the whole model of community solar. A private developer puts up the investment to get these things on the grid, and then while that's in development, we reach out to subscribers to get them in queue to get their energy from the renewable energy source, like our project. So what happens is usually about this time, our internal subscription management team, it's called Sun Central. It is an arm of Pivot Energy, so it's all internal. They have their own marketing and campaign strategies. So we start at a local scale, mostly targeting, businesses, municipalities, really anyone that's an Ameren customer in Illinois. Of course, is eligible, but we start on the county level and then work our way out from there. So yeah, it's mostly those a bit larger, commercial or local business folks that we're looking for. Schools, we've got a lot of, school districts on and things like that in the past. So we're always open to leads, but that is an arm of Pivot Energy, and they do the management and obtain themselves. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then a second question, please. What is the ownership structure of Pivot Energy?
Yeah, so we've discussed this in the past and at our previous meetings. So Pivot Energy was founded over 10 years ago in St. Louis. It started as Microgrid Energy. It's now Pivot Energy. So we are owned by a energy-focused private investor called Energy Capital Partners. They're a very, they're big leadership in our sector and everything. So we are owned by them. They fund basically our overhead, so not our projects, but just our overhead, keep the lights on and everything. And yeah, we've been owned by them for I think about 4 or 5 years or so.
Okay, so they are private equity then, just to clarify?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I've got one. So
Okay.
basically, in your opinion, you're 100% in compliance with all state regulations and all this kind of stuff with your application process, correct?
Not just my opinion. So that is my opinion, but it also has been validated and confirmed by the county office and others. So yeah, we do a lot of diligence. This isn't, this is our bread and butter. It's not our first rodeo. So we know what's required at the state level, and then we just follow local ordinances, from there. So appreciative of all the work that, Jim and Ryan at the county have done thus far. Thank you.
I have a question. There's been some discussion flying around about subsidiary state money. I mean, this is kind of a broad question, I guess. I think a lot of people are concerned about the amount of money you might be taking from federal government or state government for this project. I mean, are you able to address that and share any of that on the cost of this project and how much you would be possibly taking from the federal or state government?
Yeah, I don't have a metric, but what I do know is that in Illinois, there's a couple different projects of, programs that these projects can flow through. The two main ones that we have used in the past is the adjustable block program, or the non-adjustable block program. The adjustable block program has many more of those like state and federal incentives and the upfront funding. We found that to be just a little bit, too time consuming and things, and we actually found that we could upfront the money, and then since we're owner operator, we have a lot more control in like moving around funds and things. So we actually, because we're in the non-ABP, non-adjustable block program process, we do not have any like upfront direct before a shovel hits the ground funding from state or federal offices. It's all in the back end in the form of tax credits and stuff, which I know, as the gentleman alluded to, is, a lot of those are sunsetting and things. Pivot's in a good position. We have financial models for each project that we run weekly to make sure that if these things were to go away, can this project still move forward? We have safe harboring, already under play. We have modules, domestic modules already in order for all of these projects. So we're in a really good position. I can't say that's going to be the case for every single developer that weathers this storm, but we believe because of our partnerships and our business model and the way that we develop our projects, that we're in a good spot. But we do not receive any direct state or federal funding. It's all in the back end in the form of tax credits and things like that. And that's, of course, if we want those tax credits, we have to do things like prevailing wage and workforce development programs and low medium income subscriber. There's many things that create that kind of return on that investment that go back into the community, even on the local scale, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Good information.
Thank you,
Our next speaker is Mr. Lon Nettleman. If you'd like to come up and make sure the microphone's on. It's already on there for you. All right.
Thank you, Chairman, Brent, Councilman. I just want to touch on some basic power facts in regard to how much power this solar farm will actually contribute to the state of Illinois. I went back and got information on how much every generation plant produced, every type of solar farm, wind, etc. And the bottom line is this solar farm, and Bridget at the hearing indicated that it would produce 6,500 megawatt hours that I wrote down. You convert that into the solar power that was online in the state of Illinois in 24 was 1.04% of the amount of energy consumed in the state. So that's 1/4% that this solar farm is going to put into the solar farm added. And if you add that into the total amount of energy produced by nuke, wind, all of them, it's like 0.00374. So the amount of power that's going into the grid for the state is very, very minimum. And then that brings me to what we were talking about, dollars. I know if this was all funded privately, I wouldn't have anything to bark about at this point. But I know we're all paying for it somewhere in taxes, and this is going to be millions of dollars worth of infrastructure they have to put up. And if you divide that by half, which I hear normally is the answer, taxpayers are going to be funding probably 50% of this project. For that amount of energy that you're being produced online, and I just say, is that a good deal? Besides that, I do live less than 1/4 mile from this. I live on 4832 South 27th, just right off of Ghost Hollow Road. I can't miss it. So it'll be something I have to look at the rest of my life. And I also want to refer to the deacon's prayer tonight as he was blessing all our farm ground that he put in Adams County. And we're going to be taking 23 acres out of production. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelman. I don't see that we have any other speakers signed up. Ryan, is that correct? Okay. All right. We'll move on to some of the committee structure, and then, of course, we'll be coming back to that quickly. I don't have any other reports. We do have the meeting minutes from June 10th that were sent out a little while ago. If I could get a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Ms. Fletcher. Any questions, adjustments, revisions? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Thank you. First committee, Transportation, Building, and Technology, Mr. Bellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our committee met tonight at 5:30 in the law library. We reviewed the bills, and they seem to be in order. We got reports from IT department that the IT part of the fence out here on the east side parking lot, that's all hooked up and raised and running. The signs are done around the courthouse, the new signboards. And they're also looking at putting everybody's cell phones onto one plan, because right now we have 3 or 4 carriers apparently, and we're looking into T-Mobile to give us pricing on putting 100 phones or whatever the amount of cell phones used around the county are onto one plan. That doesn't mean we're doing it, we're just looking into pricing. Courthouse maintenance had a update on the progress, going real good on the new heat and AC. The ground west floor is 95% complete. The first floor west side is 65% complete. They're going to be saw cutting the thick concrete on the roof and some inside floors this Friday and Saturday. There's a company coming in and it's pretty thick. It's anywhere from a foot to 16 inches thick, I believe. So it's going to be something to see. We'll be installing the new rooftops in next few weeks. The rooftop units and the roofing update progress is moving forward while dodging the rain. Roof's about 45% complete. Judge's Day is coming up. They're going to have a crane on 5th Street lifting up the new units when people aren't around. County engineer had some updates due to the rain. 48th Street's kind of slowly progressing, but they're getting there. And if the clerk would read resolution 3A, please.
Resolution number 2025075011019, resolution granting a special use permit to CFIL Solar Ghost Hollow Road, Quincy LLC, a whole owned subsidiary of Pivot Energy, for the construction operation of a 3.4 megawatt commercial solar energy facility in Melrose Township.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. McCleary,
Second.
second by Mr. Bellis. This will be a roll call vote. For clarity, if you vote yes, you're voting for the permit to be approved. If you vote no, you're voting for the permit to be denied. Is everyone clear?
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah, you can have comments.
You know, this is about the fourth or fifth one we're voting on. Keep in mind that this company has checked all the boxes as far as state rules. That's what we kind of have to go by. We don't have to agree with them, which I'm not a solar guy at all. And I feel bad that we voted yes pretty much for the other ones. If it were up to me, and if I could change it, I would. That's not, anyway, doesn't matter. They've checked all the boxes. They've gone out of their way to help the neighbors with screening, and we're following the state rules.
Any other comments?
I have a question, Brett. Senator Tracy has a proposed bill that's going to amend several of the laws or rules for these solar farms. I've reached out to her and I can't contact her. We haven't been able to connect. But I guess my question is, what happens? And maybe this is a question for Todd more than anybody, but what happens if we have done the process, approved these solar farms, and a new bill is proposed which changes, say, in particular, the location of these solar farms? I think it's got a 3-mile setback from any village or town. Is there anything that we can go back and retroactively fix?
So in part, I mean, I don't know the proposed legislation or haven't read it that you're talking about. I don't know what it says. I don't know what type of language it has in terms of retroactivity, and I don't know if it addresses that very issue. If it does, and then we'll have to address it at that point to see what, if anything, we can do. But if it doesn't have any language in there that addresses that, and or doesn't specifically say that counties can go back and or make anything retroactive, it really just depends on what that legislation says. The other thing I would say about that is I apologize, but I don't know exactly where that's at. But if it's just recently been proposed, man, the Illinois legislature moves slower than the courts, right? So how many times have you seen something killed in committee or stalled? And I don't know exactly where that's at. That's probably a better question for some legislative aide that actively follows that, and or Senator Tracy herself. So I apologize for that, not knowing exactly where it's at. But if it's just recently been proposed within the last couple months, which I think it has, if you're not in the majority to where you can ram something through, good luck.
The legislation is, active and it has co-sponsors. We all know what the kind of vote mix is at the state legislature. But like Todd said, I mean, those could take up to a couple of years to go through committees and vetting and language and, reconciliation kind of things. So it is a fairly recent deal. But you're accurate in what it is asking for, as well as more local oversight. So I would imagine, I guess I'd go out on a limb and say, I couldn't imagine any legislation being retroactive to say that they could take out a facility that people had spent millions of dollars building. So it would probably be starting a new race, a new start line at a new race with different rules whenever it gets passed.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question to probably for you, Mr. State's Attorney. Say we were to decline issuing the permit, anticipating, say, some type of a change like what Mr. Zanger proposed. and it didn't go through, and it dragged the timeline of the project out in a way that such, under the current presidential administration, the funding dries up, and the proposed parties were to incur a loss on this project. Could the county be held liable for the loss that they incurred?
I mean, I think I said, whether it was the last month's meeting or the special meeting, I know, if I were an attorney on the other side, I'd throw everything plus the kitchen sink at you if I were representing them and my company or my client lost money. So there is that possibility, absolutely. If you're going to file a lawsuit, or if a lawsuit like that is filed, you're going to ask for all of your losses and then some. So there is that chance, yes.
We can what if this to death. What if? We followed our portion of what we have to check, or the boxes need to be checked. And that's my comment.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to point out also that this project, looking at it compared to the Ursa, this is, if you look at the drawings and stuff, it's more of an isolated type area. It's surrounded by trees on a few sides. There is a setback of 300 feet. I feel like, just listening to what I was told tonight, they have tried to work with the neighboring public, maybe even more so than the Ursa project. That is strictly in my opinion, but that's all I had to say.
Russ, I agree with you. If there was ever one that we were going to look at to deny, it was the one that we previously approved at the 2 previous meetings. That one was right on the village lines, and they checked all the boxes as well. This is out in the county. There's very few houses that are affected by this versus an entire village. That one I felt terrible about.
Any other comments? Well, let's have a roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
No.
Brett Fletcher.
No.
Ryan Heatcamper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
No.
Jeremy Farlow.
No.
Steve McQueen.
No.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
No.
Tim Finley.
No.
John McCoy.
No.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
No.
Joe Zinger.
No.
Russ Heatcamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seymour.
No.
Keith Calloway.
No.
Brett Austin.
Yes. So we have 8 in favor, 12 against, and 1 absence. So that resolution is denied.
Okay. Got a feeling Todd's going to be busy. Resolution B, please, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution number 202507501020, resolution appropriating $3,333.96 from the County Bridge Fund to pay for Culver County Bridge Fund project number 825 in the Fall Creek Road District.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Bellis. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Resolution C, please.
Resolution number 202507501021, resolution reporting the bids and awarding contract from the July 8th, 2025 Road Motor District Motor Fuel Tax General Maintenance Letting for Fall Creek Road District.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Mr. Zanger. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
And D, I would like to hold off for now for executive session.
Sure. We'll carry that towards the end of the meeting, and so that we have a better flow for our meeting, we'll address that in executive session. Anything else, Mr. Bellis?
I gave you the update for the HVAC. Our next meeting is August 12th, as of now, at 6 o'clock in the law library.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bellis. Legislative and judicial, Dr. Rich.
Mr. Chairman, the committee met this evening at 6 o'clock. Review bills from the circuit clerk, juvenile detention center, probation department, public defender, state's attorney, supervisor assessments. All the bills are in order. Few things we had discussion, no issue on for this evening is we're proposing to amend the liquor license ordinance to include a tax on gaming machines. The tax we're proposing would be $200, $100 for the operator and $100 for the owner. We're going to put this together and try to get, it has to be done before next July 1st, so we're going to hustle up and get her done. Other thing we talked about are the battery farms, battery ordinances. County engineer and I myself had several long conversations and meetings about this. At this point, there's not a thing we can do. We're kind of watching where the state legislation goes, and we have a lot of concerns and a lot of questions, but it's a dead issue at the moment, so we kind of put it on the table. The third thing is, even though we'd increased the cost on temporary liquor license to $75, we waived a couple of them tonight, but we're talking about if it's a not-for-profits like a religious or fraternal organization that's actually doing the special permit, maybe leaving it at 25 for them, and we're going to bring that to the committee next month. So I think that's only fair, but we'll bring it before the whole board. Things that we did do, if the no appointments, no resolutions, if the clerk would read A on the liquor license.
Would you like to do them both, Bob?
Let's do them both, A and B, yes, please.
Event liquor licenses for the first one's for a one-day liquor permit for Lakeview Weddings for July 26, 2025 from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. at 2439 North 118th Avenue, Camp Point, Illinois. Second one's a one-day liquor permit for Cokesburg Lions Club Honey Creek Deer Classic to be held on October 25th, 2025 from noon until 11:59 p.m. at 1804 East 1650th Street in Paloma, Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. McCoy. Any other discussion on those? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Liquor permits are approved.
We had no pyrotechnic displays. Our next meeting will be August 12th in the boardroom at 6 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Rich. Next committee up is Public Health and Safety. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our committee met this evening in the ROE conference room at 5:30. Reviewed the bills, all appear to be in order. We got verbal reports from Emergency Management Ambulance, Coroner, Sheriff, and the Veterans Assistance Commission. I don't know if I call this new business, but it's under new business is our recycle, which I know I'm going to try my best this evening, maybe see if we can get this moving in a direction instead of discussing here. But since it's been discussed, I've met with, spoke with the chairman as well as reached out to the health department as well and Mr. Brink over at the city in an effort to try to make movement on this since the county has kind of stopped the program in the villages. So what I would propose and discuss with the committee in my discussions is that in an effort to kind of try to work with the city on the recycle program, that we would look at a percentage of the overall budget that they have, and it would be around 5% with kind of a cap of $25,000 that we would look to budget to do our portion of the recycle program. The county, the health department would still have their solid waste money that they could do to help continue assist the villages with their village-wide cleanups. So they would have the money to do that along with other things if they wish. But I would, if we're able, I would go ahead and make a motion that we would propose that to move forward in discussions with the city.
What are we currently paying?
I'm sorry?
What are we currently paying for that?
We're paying nothing right now. The county program that we were doing, the health department was facilitating and paying Quincy Recycle, I believe, to take the containers out to the villages in that program that they're no longer doing.
We had a motion, and could I get a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fisher and second by Ms. Fletcher. Go ahead with any further discussion. I was looking into kind of the historical nature of it, and it's about a $30,000 budget that we've had with the health department to run the village program. So that kind of broke down because one of them didn't want to do it, and they were cost sharing, and it's just kind of gone away. But the health department director, Mr. Welch, would still like to continue some of the village-wide cleanups, and that's what Mr. Fisher was talking about. So we'd have more of a two-level program, both straight recycling and also a village cleanup thing. So he's been helping with that and kind of negotiate a bridge with that between us and the city. So if I understand the motion correctly, it's about a 5% or $25,000 cap. So I'm assuming they have about a $500,000 budget, is what you're saying.
That's what they say.
And then also we would still have our village cleanup program.
Correct.
So you just want some voice approval from the board to move forward with that discussion and stay kind of in the limits of that boundary. Is that what you're asking for?
That's correct. To move this kind of off the line and work with the city, that is what we are proposing, Mr. Chairman, yes.
Okay, so the motion would be to let this committee negotiate in that framework. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other questions about that?
What's the cost on the village-wide cleanup program?
It was historically a budget of around $30,000 with the health department.
Right.
Oh, now.
But ongoing is we're going to continue portions of it, it's my understanding.
That's a good question. So you're asking the differential between
Yes.
the two layer and
How much more are we
what
gonna
we have.
spend?
Okay.
So far this year, they spent, I'm just saying they have 5,000 left. So out of that money, it was about, they spent about 15,000, have about 5,000 left on the 20,000 that they've been using this year.
So in rough numbers, you're authorizing a framework to negotiate up to $25,000, plus we would still have the health department having a budget of around 20 for the village-wide cleanups. So you'd be more in the 55,000 versus the historical 30,000 average. Does that sound about right, Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, I look at it more, you allow the health department more latitude to work with the villages on the cleanups with the money that they'll have, that they normally would have had to do both. In this case, is do the recycle and other solid waste projects or village cleanups.
What does that 5% do? Does that mean that they'll take cans back out there like they did before? Or is that just offsetting the big dumpsters and stuff around town?
It's just more of a offset or a contribution to the recycle that they have in the city.
Just as a reminder, the background of this is that the city shows that the numbers have tripled since the beginning of the program. Some of that is just the natural nature of people using a more convenient service, I'm sure of that. But to triple in numbers, and the city population didn't triple in any sense. So obviously when the village recycling's definitely when it stopped, but even as it was winding down, I think the city has definitely shown us numbers that we have a lot of county residents using the program, which is a great program for recycling.
I don't know if I heard it here or it's kind of deja vu, but it seems like I had a conversation with somebody that was talking about this very thing. And they were saying that there are a lot of people with Missouri license plates dumping into there and doing those kinds of things. And then they had suggested doing some sort of you've got to prove that you're Quincy type of thing. Is that seems absurd to me. Like that'll be so much effort. Is it the county pitching in because part of Quincy is inside of the county? Is that how we're kind of doing it? Or are we hoping to pay for like Camp Point and the surrounding areas?
Well, we're not, providing the bins in the county anymore. So this is a way to allow them to use, because there's no restriction on the program that they have. But at least it's kind of a way for the county to make a contribution to the city into the recycle program they have that would allow them to still use. You hear a lot of stories, I'm sure, like we've all talked about and we've discussed, whoever's using it, and how they want to enforce it. I haven't heard any more about that, whether they are or if they intend to. But at least for us as a county to work with the city to still provide that service, that's our contribution.
And remember, this is solely a discussion that started because we are ending our program. If we weren't ending our program, I don't think we would have this discussion. And that came from the health department director, is that it wasn't valued by the villages anymore. So they didn't want to put their cost share in. So just a point of clarification, this whole conversation started on that point.
So is the health department board paying for this up till it ended? Or how?
What's that question again?
Yeah, the health department was paying for the health department was paying for the recycling at the villages up until this time.
Correct.
They were charging the villages so much per month to put the bins out there, as well as the other cost out of the solid waste money that they had.
And since the recycling started in Quincy, the usage of those bins out in the county has decreased significantly. And so they decided that it was not being valued anymore. And the health department decided they weren't going to fund it any longer.
I got you.
Any other questions on that?
So we're funding it instead of the health department? Is that what I understand, Brent?
It would be in the health department budget. I mean, you'd have to be, yeah.
It will be. It's kind of more of a hybrid, if you will. You know what I mean? Because it'll still allow us to contribute, but yet we'll still be able to take care of support the villages on their cleanups.
So just for clarification, is the $25,000 coming from the health department budget or from the Adams County budget proper?
That's the negotiation to be had, but it's a commitment of funds. But we haven't actually addressed that question yet.
Okay. I guess, I mean, I know it's not large dollars, but I guess I'd like to see it overall be closer to budget neutral compared to what we're doing, would be my suggestion, so.
Okay.
The health department's meeting next week. Maybe we ought to table this and or at least put it off till at least the health department board looks at it. They only meet every quarter, so.
Okay.
And that at least give them some input on it. I mean, I think everybody's kind of on the same page. It's just a matter of the dollars and where they're coming from.
Understood. Mr. Fisher, is that something that you could tolerate for another month and get through their board?
I gave it a heck of a run, but yeah, sure. I could withdraw my motion and table if that's what everybody's.
We can just do a simple withdrawal of the motion if that is the.
I believe the plan for tonight was to get this over the line. I think we lose.
Yeah. Understood.
Gave it a heck of a run.
We're pushing the health department pretty hard this month, so maybe it's whatever the board wants to do.
Okay.
Neither that near there to me. But
I had one question on this. So was the impetus of this discussion that the villages didn't see a benefit in this and they didn't want to pay for it anymore?
The numbers have declined so much in the village recycling that they didn't see the benefit of paying their cost share anymore. So it was like empty dumpsters in the villages, because realistically, in a real world situation, I think you can assume that people are putting their recycles into their cars and driving into Quincy to do their business.
And they were expressing the fact that they no longer wanted to contribute from their villages.
So I guess what I'm saying is like, if the county pays for dumpsters there, how is that going to change that?
It's not. There is no, if we're doing this as a sort of a goodwill because the city is paying for the whole program. Okay. That was the impetus of it. We don't have a recycling program in the villages anymore, nor will it be coming back unless we.
So the new plan is, I mean, ultimately, people in the villages would bring that to Quincy, as we believe maybe they already are.
Yes.
And they don't have to wait for the bins when they're delivered. They can bring it at their convenience.
Remember, the villages weren't 24/7, 365 dumpsters. They were convenient at times, but then they were sporadic. So that sporadic nature is what caused the numbers to decline when you had something right by your grocery store that you were traveling to, or your Home Depot that was there 24/7, 365. So that's the real world situation that's happened.
So in this situation, probably the villages would not be charged anything under the new program, right? Correct. So they're going to be budget friendly for them.
They will not be charged. They don't have a health department that will be much, pretty good shape to assist them as they need if they want to do village-wide cleanups, which in the county, really a lot of that is to, help eliminate the nuisance and illegal dumping and those kind of things. So hopefully it would help support that more.
So the health department is really taking a proactive step to help the village, to help the villages, in essence.
I wouldn't do anything else and not be supportive here, Tim. So, I'm doing my best here.
But I agree with your statement. They are being proactive in the sense of what the villages want to see of a program is that nuisance abatement, larger cleanup deal.
The one problem I see with that is lots of time the villages will only let the people that live in the village do those cleanups. Nobody that lives outside can do it.
Correct.
I sense your frustration not getting across the line.
No, it's all right.
I guess one of my other thoughts is if the expense has tripled, are contributing 5% or kicking 5% in there is not very much. Are we keeping something that is getting out of hand alive by kicking money toward it that should be shut down? Or are we like being generous to try to help them out? I don't know if I said that quite right. In my mind, it makes sense, but I'm not sure if I'm getting the words out right. It just seems like it's growing into this big monster, and we're contributing toward it instead of maybe the decision needs to be to.
It depends on who you ask. If you ask the city, we're not generous enough. But we're trying to put a foot forward to contribute to the program that would help those folks bring it any time that's convenient to them versus.
And I didn't hear that the cost tripled. I heard that the usage tripled.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably a good point.
The cost has been, if I remember the numbers, I'm pretty close on this. It was 2021 when they started it, I believe. And it was 60-some thousand, then it was 170, then it got to 240, then 340, then 500. I think it was 500 this past year. So that's kind of the curve. And that is just the cost to run the program. So the program doesn't get more expensive if people aren't recycling. So to your point about the feeding the monster, I get it, but it's a direct usage thing. It's not that they have more capacity that they've added that wasn't being used in that sense. They're just picking it up more often when it's full. So it is actual usage.
Is there any truth to that some of this recyclable stuff is just being thrown into the landfill? I've heard that as well. I don't know.
A component of all recyclables are thrown into a landfill. Period. I don't know what the percentage is, but yeah, I mean, there's been enough articles about that to show that is absolutely true. The single stream thing does mitigate that a lot. I know that. And then also they get a higher buyback. A follow-up question to that might get asked is the city making money off of this, and are we giving money to the city to make money off of it? And seeing the numbers is they get about $100,000 of revenue against a $500,000 budget. So when that got out in the public, they were kind of concerned that people thought they made money off of it. They make money off of what they take in, but it nowhere comes close to the cost of the program.
Has the city asked us for money on this yet?
Yes.
They've actually asked us, made a request for this percentage?
Yeah, that's how this started.
So they set the percentage of what they wanted?
No, that was Mr. Fisher has been negotiating with
the
them.
percentage of what we want to give them.
They would go by population, I think, if we let them.
Well, I'm just haven't been in this position, but it's kind of like when you start child support, you keep asking for more. If we open the door here,
the recycling support, you don't want to be beholden for the rest of your life.
I don't know.
So I'm going to go back in time here. 2019, we were paying $20,000 for this, and then it went up to $30,000 per year. At that point in time, villages contributed $1,250 per village times 4, so $5,000.
I think that since went up.
Yeah, we kicked in the extra 5. They kicked in the extra 5. So we were contributing 25,000. They were all contributing 5. So we're going from 25 basically at this point in time to 30 automatically because the villages aren't kicking in, and then we're going to have an additional 25. So we're going from a $25,000 budget to a $55,000 budget on this.
That'd be a correct assumption. And understanding also, I'm not advocating one way or the other. I'm just giving what knowledge that I've gleaned out of this is just needs to be a basic understanding that we are no longer running a recycling program in the villages. That's what was a major point about even entertaining this lengthy negotiation.
If we don't, it's going to look like trash, and that's not what we want. at this point.
We would want to encourage county village residents to recycle somewhere.
Right.
But Brent, if we did a $25,000, cap it at $25,000, we would actually be reducing, right?
Well, I think what
We
you're saying
really
is,
can't- I guess what I'm asking is,
yeah,
since the villages aren't putting in anymore,
right.
I don't think what you put out tonight was that we were gonna make up for that, but what we were gonna do was a $25,000 and cap it at that. Was that correct?
Well, it'd be 25,000 cap, but it would still allow, what they're saying is the health department still has their 20,000. So that's where they're combining the two to get the 55,000. So yes, we would look at the 25,000, basically additional, but the health department is still doing their part to do the solid waste with their 20,000, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, thank you.
How would you like to proceed, Mr. Fisher?
What the heck? Let's have some more fun. I withdraw my motion. We'll table it to next month and until
All right.
Doc Rich goes there.
I appreciate everyone's discussion on that. Think about it and then be ready to vote on it in August. Deal? All right. So we have that motion withdrawn, and we'll move on to our next item.
By the way, there is one other item, but I won't make it as lengthy. We did have a little bit of information that we talked about on the Veterans Assistance Commission. There was some legislation entered about, regional mutual aid. Paul is not here, but we did have the pleasure of having Emily Watkins, who's out here, works with the VAC and does a lot of great work. She shared some of the numbers with us this month. There have been some counties that don't have VAC that do reach out, and our VAC does get inundated with a lot of calls. So really not much more to share, but they're keeping it on the radar. They're staying open to discussions with other counties to see if there's some things done. But I believe we'll still have to have some infrastructure, some MOUs, and other agreements in place before we could probably make any motion or any movement on that, and coordinating with anyone else on the mutual aid side. So good discussion, and we appreciate Emily being there. So that was the other item we had under new business. No other discussion, and our next meeting, we will meet August 12th, 5:30 in the ROE meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. We're going to go ahead and skip the executive committee report because of what I wrote down, everything else is being addressed in the other committees that we talked about at the executive committee. I don't think we had anything else that isn't going to be addressed through the committees unless any of the chairmen see it differently. All right. We'll go over that. And then next committee report will be the Finance Committee. Mr. Cooley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee met yesterday, June 9th, 2025, here in the county boardroom. We reviewed bills, finished one up tonight. Everything appeared to be in order. We discussed several items last night. First order of business is an ordinance. I will ask the county clerk to read 3A, please.
Ordinance number 202506 should be 001024. Approval to increase the annual salary of the state's attorney, the public defender, and sheriff.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Finley. Any other discussion on that?
Yeah, so these adjustments are required annually to align with the state mandated cost of living increases and ensure proper reimbursement rates. So it's 100% reimbursement for the state's attorney, 90% for the public defender, and 66.66% for the sheriff.
Any other questions? This is a roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Raheem Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zinger.
Yes.
Russ Hincamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes.
20 in favor, 1 absent.
20 in favor, 1 absent. That ordinance is adopted.
I'll ask the county clerk to read 4A, please.
Additional fund appropriation from myself, Randy Niekamp, in the amount of $6,500 to revenue account number 010114645 state stipend county clerk for revised budget amount of $6,500 and $6,500 to expense account line 010115135 salary state stipend county clerk for revised budget amount of $6,500.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cooley, second by Mr. Finley. Discussion?
So this is additional fund appropriation for County Clerk Ryan Niekamp in the amount of $6,500. It's related to a state stipend, which now is to be processed through the county instead of the state. It's a pass-through appropriation requiring no net impact to the county budget, which we know is budget neutral.
Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Ray Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zanger.
Yes.
Russ Hincamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes.
20 in favor, 1 absent.
20 in favor, 1 absent. That fund appropriation is adopted.
I ask County Clerk to read 4B, please.
Transfer fund appropriation from Paul Havermill, Veterans Assistant Commission Superintendent, the amount of $2,000 from account number 631-631-5346 utilities for revised budget amount of $3,000 and $2,000 to account number 631-631-5650 office supplies for revised budget amount of $6,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley, second by Mr. Poulter. Any discussion?
So this transfer reallocates $2,000 from the utilities to office supplies to better align for the actual spending needs.
Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Ray Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zanger.
Yes.
Russ Hincamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes.
20 in favor, 1 absent.
20 in favor, 1 absent. That transfer is approved.
Regarding budget and insurance, so we're coming upon budget season next month. The entire finance committee is actually going to be doing some scheduled training, which is Monday, August 11th at 4 p.m. That should last about an hour. So that's also going to, in turn, move our finance committee meeting till 5 o'clock. So we're actually going to move finance meeting next week from 6 to 5, directly following the ClearGov training. Regarding insurance updates, I will leave that to Tim. Do you have anything to share on the insurance?
Just a quick update with regards to our health insurance for the county. We did meet with our broker, Cunningham and Butler, last week to discuss plans for the upcoming 2026 year. And so we'll start working on already working on some plan design there. Probably not a lot of significant changes there. The health plan is running better than planned for year to date, which is very good. Our Cunningham and Butler, our broker, did indicate that they anticipate healthcare expenses to be about 7 to 8% increase in 2026 as compared to 2025. So that trend continues to see across the market higher healthcare cost. So the other thing I would mention is that I will be attending the CIRMA meeting next week in Bloomington, Illinois. And CIRMA is the group of about 30 counties in the state of Illinois that pool together to source their property, casualty, and workers' comp insurance. So you will have a travel voucher approval for me next month, excuse me. So if you don't think you'll approve that, let me know and I'll arrange to either ride my bike or hitchhike or something. So.
Regarding discussion, possible action, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do this, but I wanted to give an update on the HVAC bonding. Follow me because I've got about 4 pages of notes here. I'm just kidding. I don't really have that much, but I do have a lot. we last talked about doing, last time we were here, we all talked about doing a 15-year term with 2 years of interest only and a remaining 13 years of principal and interest. So that's where we are at last. We proposed that plan to local banks and only received 2 interested banks that had any interest to that proposal. Together combined to an interested amount of around $3 million of the $9 million that we are actually needing. And with that, with the $3 million that they had interest in, they had kicked back at a much higher interest rate than what our proposed rate was. So we all, and Tim King then followed back up with those banks, sent out another proposal to find out what all the issue was with the bond. So after discussing with the banks that did have interest and then also a few of them that didn't, what was the biggest issue was we had a 5-year call feature that tied to the bond proposal, and they also didn't like our rate because they wanted something around 1% more than the proposed amount. So after we had many phone calls, emails, and text messages, what we had decided as a committee, as well as with the help of the treasurer, the clerk, chairman, that we were going to propose a 10-year scheduled payback instead of a 15-year scheduled payback with no call feature, because those were the 2 issues. We also asked if they wanted to take the whole $9 million bond instead of splitting this thing up, which got a lot more attention with that. We finally came back that there was 2 biggest interested parties, Bank of Springfield, First Bankers Trust. We asked if they both would be interested in coming in together and matching their rates, and they both agreed. So as you can see, we gave out a packet, if you guys can go through that. We're going to structure this thing so that we receive payments, or they receive payments every other year, versus one bank receiving the first 5 years and the second not receiving anything until year 6 following for the 5 years remaining. That's much fairer for both parties. That also plays out so that Bank of Springfield will take the first payment and First Bankers Trust will take the second, and so on. Since Bank of Springfield is first, they will end up about $4.385 million, and First Bankers Trust will end up with about $4.615 million. The all-inclusive cost, the bond yield out, the yield is meaning that it includes the underwriting fees. So after it yields out, you're going to see on your packet, it's going to say 3.65, but that doesn't include the yield. With the yield, with the underwriting fees, it figures out to be 3.883399 or 98. If you haven't looked as of lately, which I'm sure you probably haven't, the Treasury rate today is 4.19. So that's today's market rate. So in other words, banks can park their overnight funds and gain 4.19% on their funds. And we have them locking in at 3.65, yielding out to us at 3.88. So that's a guaranteed net loss of 0.31% or 0.31 basis points. It's not financial, makes sense for them. So they're losing money on this investment. We originally talked with Tim King, and he said he would start a public offering if we needed to go that route, which would be 0.25% under market rate. If you couldn't sell at market rate to the local banks at this point, we are 31 basis points under market rate, and that's using local banks, not going public with this. Also with public, I don't doubt if any of you remember, if we went public with our rates, we are also going to be charged an additional 0.15% underwriting fee, which totaled out to be $135,000 instead of our underwriting fee, which is going to be $89,000. Now, just going back to cash flow side. So we're changing the cash flow. The county is trying to push originally we were trying to push for $900,000 annual payment, $300 in interest for the next 2 years on top of the $600,000 annual payment that we have left on the health department. With this change, we're requesting that the health department take on the last 2 years of their $600,000 annual payment. which we can do as a separate line item tax to pay for the health department bond itself. That in turn will allow us to use the money from county general to pay for this new payment on a 10-year straight payment schedule of $1,110,000, which is $210,000 more than previously planned for, costing the county a total of $11 million, just shy of $11,100,000 with interest and underwriting fees. But also in turn, it also saves taxpayers $1,385,000 versus what we had proposed. And that does not include the extra $90,000 in the underwriting fee. So if we're looking with that extra $90,000, we're saving taxpayers $1,475,000 worth of savings, going from a 15-year schedule like we were planning to a 10-year schedule. And that's with the same rates. And we couldn't get anybody's interested even close to those rates because they all wanted 1% higher. But if only rates, but only at rates that were 100% high or 1% higher than that, think about how much that would have cost us: $600,000 more if it were 1%. So bringing the total to $2,075,000, and that we negotiated out with this, with Tim King and with health department coming into play, us having those long-term relationships with First Bankers Trust and Bank of Springfield coming up big with this as well. So I don't think we could have ever came out any better with this, especially using local banks, and we've got 2 local banks going with this instead of taking this public. Do we need to do anything approval-wise with this?
No, you set the framework as a board to allow up to a $9 million bond issuance. You granted the finance committee the negotiation to get the terms. And I think that as long as you've performed to those metrics, which it sounds like you have, then there's no further approval needed. But it is good that we present this all out in front of everyone. I would just say open it up to questions for anyone to ask questions about what was just presented.
I just have one question, Travis, or where are we at on the negotiation? I've heard this about with the health department taking on payments. Has that dialogue been started, and where are we at on that?
Yeah, we're good. The dialogue has started, and also it's in our purview of setting the budget. I mean, the health department has a board, and it is a fiduciary board, but we need to work with them. But if this is what we need to get done, this is what we need to get done. And that, Travis just laid out $1.3 million of savings by squashing it from 15 to 10 years. So that's something that we need to look at and get done and through it.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Travis, for all your work and the whole finance. Yeah, it sounds like great savings.
I'd like to repeat that, Travis. Nobody realizes how much time Travis has spent on this. I really appreciate it. Plus, to have somebody on the board that has the knowledge and the experience and the education to do it is phenomenal. So thank you. Second thing is, the reason I wanted to do the trash talk and kick it down the road, we're going to, health department meeting is going to be really cool, and they want our $200,000-$300,000 payments plus our trash.
Yeah, I got you.
So, I mean, how much are you going to hoop on them? I just didn't want, I thought it might soften the blow a little bit, let them at least decide to spend their money.
No, it's that's good. Good negotiation there, Dr. Rich. Anyone else have questions on that? I know this is a big ticket item, one of the biggest ticket items you'll have in the next year or two, but it's been pretty well vetted. So if anyone doesn't have any objection, then basically you're allowing the finance committee to pursue through to the end. So everyone, yeah.
Just one. Were you able to get your legal opinion?
Yeah.
Regarding
this has gone through Miller Canfield, which they're acting as our legal with this.
Okay. So will there be like a tax exemption, you think, on that? I'm just reading what you have on one of the statements on it, page 3 of 3.
I'm sorry.
Had bond counsel provide an opinion, the validity and federal tax exemption on the bonds.
I didn't write this up, Keith. I'm sorry. Okay. It's going to say exactly what this is.
Any other questions?
Have we paid Peters?
We
approved it, the 800,000 tonight.
Good.
And just for the record, maintenance department's reported to me that the add-ons or the deducts, we're doing good. We're in the good.
Thank you.
Anything else on that? Mr. Cooley?
Not on that.
All right.
In new business, Ryan Niekamp presented updates regarding Adams County invoices and proposed implementing of ACH transactions to improve efficiency, reducing mail cost, and meet the increasing demand for mobile payment options for the county long term. Our next finance meeting will be Monday, August 11th, 2025 at 5 p.m., not 6 p.m., following the ClearGov training at 4 p.m. in the county boardroom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. I'd love to tell you that you're going to finance meeting will get a little easier in August and September and October, but that'd be a lie. So I'm not going to do that to you.
What Mr. Finley doesn't know is he's going to be in charge of the budget.
Oh, that's great. The training's going to pay off. All right. Anything further from finance? You're good? All right. I don't think we have any other unfinished business to look at. We do need to, let's just go through the general new business correspondence stuff. So under new business, no approval of board member travel vouchers. We'll be impatiently awaiting Mr. Finley's next month. Monthly reports.
Monthly reports from the Supervisor of Assessments, Board of Review, Juvenile Detention Center, the County Clerk, Recorder's Office, Public Defender, the Circuit Clerk, Information Technology, Probation Department, monthly check register from June 2025, and fund summary report for June 2025, including revenue and expenses.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. McCleary. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. I don't see anything on the resignation list. That's good. How about appointments?
Appointment for John Simon and David McClary to the City of Quincy and Adams County Joint Emergency Telephone System Board for a 3-year term. Mr. Simon shall serve as the Adams County Public Safety Official, whereas Mr. McCleary shall serve as a PSAP representative.
I would ask for board concurrence on this. All those in favor? Any opposed? Careful what you sign up for. That's great. Those are great representatives to have on that board, and I know that Jessica has done a good job keeping everybody current on that. Any other reports?
No.
Let's see. No other discussion. How about correspondence?
Is there something? When is the right time to add something to the meeting? Is it right here under discussion?
Yeah. Discussion and possible action. Yes.
Okay. I just have something real quick. Mr. Chairman, what I'm about to share will not be easy for me to say, nor will be easy for you to hear. It's my goal to share my thoughts on this incident in a way that moves us as a county board and elected officials toward rebuilding, restoring, and or maintaining the public's trust. It is meant as constructive feedback, and I hope it comes across that way and it's received that way. As a member of the board, I'm a leader and held to a higher standard than the general public. As a leader of the board, you're held to an even higher standard. What I want to address is the Taco Bell incident. The first I heard of it was the news story that you were involved in a hit and run. The story was that you were dragging part of your running board when you got to Taco Bell, and then you ripped it off the rest of the way when you jumped the curb after hitting a car. It was reported that you left the scene of an accident. It's easy for me and others to allow our imaginations to go wild and believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. You're known to drink. It's a common thing for people who are drinking to go to Taco Bell in the middle of the night. A couple of years ago, I was parked at the state fair and someone turned in too tight to park next to me. It was very difficult to see the damage to my truck. Just that little contact bent my bumper down a little bit and cracked the taillight. That damage was barely visible, was thousands of dollars, which far exceeded my insurance deductible, so I turned it in. In my mind, perhaps you only have liability insurance on your truck. Otherwise, why didn't you file a police report about the accidents to have your insurance fix your truck? It led me to believe that you were drunk and didn't want the DUI. Why did you jump the curb in the first place? Where's your patience or your concern about hurting Taco Bell's property or driving across the neighbor's property? Why did it take 22 hours for you to talk to the police unless you were avoiding the DUI? I believe this happened on a Thursday, and on Saturday you're at the St. Francis picnic buying beer tickets and drinking. At the Grand Prix, the first thing you did coming into the VIP tent was go buy beer in the middle of the day. The only information that I had at that point was what was reported on the news, that you were involved in a hit and run, did things to avoid getting a DUI, and then didn't care at all by publicly drinking immediately afterward. As a board member, I kept checking my board email for something from you apologizing for what you'd done, or even an explanation. I checked the news to follow the story to see if you were addressing it publicly. It wasn't until the party chairman addressed the situation and said that you needed to apologize to the board, the party, and the public that you replied with an explanation, including that you didn't feel it was necessary to publicly apologize. Your actions left me and the public reason to doubt you as an honest leader. Since the personal incident was made public and you're a public official, a public apology is needed in an effort to maintain and or rebuild public trust. According to your explanation of the incident, the news got it wrong. Yet you left all of us in the dark for weeks. Thank you for acknowledging your note the compromising position that you put us all in. There will be some that will never be convinced, but by acknowledging the shame that your actions cast on us, you'll at least be on the journey of building our trust in the communities. I believe it would go a long way for us on the board and the general public to apologize that your actions have lumped us and our board into the same political mess as Chicago and all other politicians. Going forward, it would be helpful at a minimum of getting your explanation immediately, instead of leaving us in the dark and only being able to use our imaginations. It's my hope that sharing my thoughts with you has provided constructive feedback so you can better understand the compromised position you've put us all in these past few weeks. Also, to help you see that your personal life is more public than ever and needs to be treated as so. I want to finish my comments the same way I began, by restating my goal to move our board forward and all of us as elected officials toward rebuilding, restoring, and or maintaining public trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farlow. So next up, we have correspondence.
We have correspondence from Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, public notice regarding a proposed renewal of the Clean Air Act permit program, permit Huber Carbonates LLC in Quincy, Illinois.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Ryan Hincamper. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Second correspondence from Illinois Department of Natural Resources regarding updated information for the 2025 floodplain management community contacts.
Oh, we're doing them one at a time, I see.
It's a new world.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Ryan Hincamper. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2C6 for the purpose of setting of a price or lease property owned by the County of Adams.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bellis to go into executive session, second by Mr. McCleary. All those in favor, say
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll have the gallery empty. This will be the last item that we're conducting for your reference. We'll have Mr. Frankenhoff stay. We'll have
executive?
We are.
Okay. Can I make a motion to let Jim Frankenhoff negotiate with Mill Creek on this tower, our property for the water tower, with Todd Eiler's help, giving them the okay to have the property for $10 with them doing all the improvements and
No, we have to now.
well,
The motion on the floor is that we sell the property for $10 on it with good and valuable consideration, and that Mill Creek will incur the cost of the development. Is that
I would
correct?
second the
Yes.
motion.
Okay.
and cover us if the water tower does interfere with our radio towers, that it is rectified, it's fixed at their cost.
Motion $10. Motion good and valuable consideration. Motion that they have included in the motion is that they incur the cost for the development, and a little bit of an amendment to the motion is the motion is also valid for them to make sure that our tower performs accordingly. Would you like to re-second that, Mr.?
Yes, sir, I would like to re-second that.
All right, and seconded. Do we need to do voice or roll call or what?
Well, are we not wanting to look at resolution ending in 022? Yeah, we need to read that one. And then I guess you could amend the resolution to say what you're wanting it to say.
Jim, that we signed?
Oh, it's back.
I have it here.
Oh.
I just want to make sure that's
Yeah,
what you're wanting.
Yep.
So you
Read it.
probably need to withdraw your motion then, so we can make a motion to adopt this resolution. Have me
I
read
would-
it.
Okay.
Withdraw my motion and read the resolution.
Previous motion is withdrawn. Go ahead and read the D, 4D.
Resolution 2025-07-501-022, resolution approving the sale of a small tract of land in Mill Creek Water District for the purpose of a water tower from a parcel of land owned by the County of Adams located in part of the northwest quarter of Section 4, Township 2, South, Range 8 West, 4th Principal Meridian, City of Quincy, Adams County, Illinois.
Approve.
Motion by Mr. Sanger. Second by Mr. Seamer. Would you like to do any amendment to that?
Go ahead.
So we'd like that amendment, there would be $10 and that all other expense would be on Mill Creek's.
Okay.
And then also that if it interferes with our tower, that the expense of moving said antennas onto their water tower would be at their expense.
Okay. Distilled down nicely. Any other?
Second, I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion? All right. Now how do we vote?
Roll call.
Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Raheem Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zanger.
Yes.
Russ Hincamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
No.
Keep me on my toes. Brett Austin.
Yes.
19 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 absent.
19 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 absent. Is that a resolution? That resolution is approved.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I ask one favor?
Sure.
The young lady from Pivot would like just to make a quick comment, I believe. Is that
Yeah,
legal?
we'd have to suspend the rules of the meeting because we already had that part. But if you want to do that, we can do that.
Can I make a motion to suspend the rules to have a public speaker?
Motion by Mr. Bellis.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCleary. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Please come up and speak.
Hey, folks, really appreciate it. I know it's late night, so I'll make it quick. But now that kind of the noise in the gallery and things are a little bit cleared out, I know I spoke to State's Attorney Todd earlier today about, our outside counsel did, and I also spoke to a couple folks about preparing for what I kind of felt like was the inevitable, and I didn't want to table tonight because I felt like you all had a strategy. I know the pressure that you all have felt recently, and I know the pressure that is felt across the state of Illinois from, the state legislator and things like that. That is why Pivot Energy tries to work the best we can with neighbors to go above and beyond on these projects and make it beneficial even when it's voluntary and not required. So I obviously am, it's regrettable that, we have to come to these points of the next steps here. So what I understand is that one option that we have is to, instead of adjourning and closing the meeting, it would be a motion to reconsider, and that would keep the meeting technically open. And then you would be able to reconsider on, I guess, the next meeting or a later meeting. And essentially what would probably happen is that, we would engage our outside counsel in that time and kind of lay out what obviously we believe and know to be true from both state and local law, that our project is compliant, as your county office has said. Your committee, voted unanimously for approval, and there wasn't really a reason that the board gave tonight that the project was denied. So I think that many professionals would agree that there is not a ton of grounds to stand on. That doesn't mean I don't understand where y'all are coming from, but that is what I see as one option. Otherwise, of course, the meeting can adjourn and it can go into a little bit more of a formal and costly, process. But we try to play not nice, but we try to lead with integrity and a friendly face as long as we can. But at the end of the day, Pivot Energy is a business, and we are going to take the steps necessary to protect our assets that we've invested a lot of money into to date. So I guess I would just ask the state's attorney to advise on our options going forward. And even though we don't have to, I will continue to work with neighbors. I will continue to bring forward the things that I have promised, because it's a big likelihood that this project is going to happen one way or another. So I will make that a verbal commitment to continue everything that we have promised that goes above and beyond. I'm not going to, take those away in spite. I don't want neighbors or the community to hurt because of this. But yeah, I just ask that we take the steps necessary to, reconsider if that is sound to the state's attorney's opinion. Thank you.
Okay,
Motion.
Can I get a motion to resume the roles of the meeting?
Motion to resume the meeting.
Second by Mr. Bellis. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing this to happen.
Sure.
Todd, would you want to?
All I would say is, if you are wanting at this point, I don't think she referred to it as a motion to reconsider. You don't have to make a motion to reconsider that at this point, but along the lines of what she's talking about is similar to what we do every year at budget time. You suspend a meeting and then you take it up later. And as you know, we play that little game where we go back in time. So if anybody is interested in following the recommendation or the request that Brittany made, then one option is to suspend the meeting, just like we do those budget meetings. And then if you choose to take it up later, you can, and we can talk about whatever there is to talk about whenever we need to or want to.
Do you have extra staff right now to contribute time and effort to fight it, I guess, for lack of to face a lawsuit? Not that she's threatening by any means, but if you read the law,
So I would prefer to have that discussion with the board in
that
private.
were to happen.
I mean, we'll do what we need to do to represent the county, but there are certainly aspects of that discussion that we need to have, and I think it's a different setting that we should have that.
So can I go ahead and make a motion then that we suspend the meeting to, I don't know if we have to attach a date to that. I can't remember how we did.
You do not have to pick a date. You can, if that's what you're wanting to do along those lines, you can just ask to suspend the meeting. And then if at all, maybe never, but if somebody chooses to ask that we go back in time and start that meeting or go back into that meeting, we can do that.
you know, I feel like in order for us as a board to kind of look at this whole situation, that would be a logical step.
I agree.
Is that something you would recommend, Todd?
It's an option that you have. It's well,
He did go to law school.
It's an option we have.
I mean, it's an option that you have, and certainly there's nothing wrong with you doing that. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Did,
Go
did
ahead,
you
Jim, I'm
have, did
sorry.
you have something? We don't have to suspend the rules for Mr. Frankenoff, correct? No. Okay.
Just to make you aware, I have received notice and that I will be, or Ryan, on or about July 23rd, 24th, will be receiving another solar farm application. This one will be on Eubanks Road, immediately east of the one we approved a few months ago. That one will be coming up. Those people will be submitting an application at the end of this month. I have also indications either the end of this month or sometime next month, the solar facility south of the airport, that'll be an industrial scale of roughly 11 to 1,200 acres. That one will be presented to you by the end of probably in August was the indication I've got, if not the end of this month. So as you think about this going forward, they are there and they are coming. So we will be redoing this. I would guarantee you, you will be forwarding another application to the appropriate committee next month. And 2 months after that, we will be having the same discussion.
Which means another public hearing, correct?
Tell you what's coming.
Each one gets a public hearing.
Each one of those will get a public
And I
hearing.
hope y'all hear that, because I would really appreciate when you show up.
Yeah, our last public hearing, there was like 5 or 6 of us here. It was kind of disappointing, I should say.
The first public hearing was the same way. There was only 4 or 5 of us at that one too.
Make a motion to suspend the meeting. Second it.
Who gave the second after Steve? I'm going to go with Mr. McQueen made the motion, second by Mr. Ryan Hincamper. And then, does anyone have any further discussion about this? All those in favor? Opposed? So this meeting will stand suspended, thank you, until such time as we agree to take up this issue again. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good with that?